Your phone is destroying your focus, here's how to fix it. The notification went off at 1:13 a.m. A single, sharp ding that sliced through the dark like a surgical blade. Evan Walsh's eyes snapped open. He didn't want to check it. He didn't need to check it. He knew he shouldn't check it. But his hand moved anyway, mind foggy, consciousness half asleep, reaching for the phone glowing on the nightstand like a lighthouse calling lost ships. The light hit his eyes like a punch. A message. Then a second. Then 3 more in the span of seconds. Group chat. News alert. App promotion. Random meme. Useless notifications dressed as urgent ones. He knew better. He knew better. But he kept scrolling. And scrolling. And scrolling. By the time he finally looked up, the clock read 3:21 a.m. His eyes were burning. His chest felt hollow. His mind was buzzing with everything and nothing at the same time. And worst of all, he didn't remember a single thing he'd just seen. He lay back on his pillow with a deep, soul-sick sigh. What's wrong with me? The room was silent. Except a voice answered from the corner. Your attention has been hijacked. Evan's heart jumped into his throat. He bolted upright. Someone was sitting in the chair across the room. A man. Calm. Upright. Hands folded. Staring at him with an expression that was neither threatening nor friendly, but knowing. Evan scrambled, pulling the blanket toward him in shock. What? Who are you? How did you get in here? The man didn't move. I've been here longer than you think, he said. Watching you lose the one thing the world is stealing faster than anything else. Evan blinked, terrified and confused. My phone? No, the man said. Your focus. Those 2 words hit harder than fear. Evan rubbed his face. Okay. I'm definitely dreaming. You're not. Then you're a hallucination. Or a stalker. Or, the man raised a hand. None of that matters. His voice was controlled, calm, cutting. What matters is that you're losing your mind one scroll at a time. Evan froze. Because the words didn't feel like an accusation. They felt like the truth. The man stood slowly, stepping into the faint light leaking from the hallway. He was tall. Sharp features. Eyes that looked like they had seen every secret of the modern world and weren't impressed. Evan whispered, "Who are you?" The man stepped closer. I'm the part of you that remembers how to pay attention. Evan's breath caught. That's impossible. The man glanced at the glowing phone still clenched in Evan's hand. Is it? You spend 6 hours a day staring into a device designed to manipulate your brain. But the idea that your mind created a guardian doesn't make sense? Guardian. The word echoed in Evan's head. The man nodded toward the phone. That thing is not a tool anymore. It's a cage. Evan swallowed hard. I mean, yeah, I guess I use it too much. The man's expression sharpened instantly. Use it too much? He stepped closer, voice rising. Evan, you don't use your phone. It uses you. He gestured around the dark room. You woke up at 1 in the morning. Do you know why? Evan shrugged weakly. A notification? Not exactly. It wasn't the alert that woke you. It was the addiction behind the alert. Evan blinked. Addiction? He scoffed. Come on. That's a strong word. The man's voice cut through the air like freezing wind. Strong words are the only ones that can break strong chains. He leaned forward. You don't have insomnia. You don't have low motivation. You don't have a lack of discipline. He tapped the phone with 2 fingers. You have a device that fragments your brain every 60 seconds. Evan's stomach twisted. He whispered, I know. I know it's a problem. I just don't know how to fix it. The man nodded once. That, he said, is why I'm here. Evan stared at him. Why now? The man's eyes narrowed. Because tomorrow morning, you'll wake up exhausted. You'll skip your morning routine. You'll rush through your day half present. Your creativity will collapse. Your productivity will die. And you'll blame yourself when the truth is, he pointed to the device still glowing in Evan's trembling hand. You are outmatched by a machine designed to capture your mind. Silence. Heavy. Oppressive. Real. Evan couldn't breathe. So what do I do? He whispered. How do I get my focus back? The man turned toward the doorway. Get up. Evan blinked. What? Get up, the man repeated. We're going to rebuild your attention span. Evan stayed frozen. The man's voice hardened. You want to fix your life? Fix your mind. You want to fix your mind? Fix your focus. And you want to fix your focus? He pointed toward the dark hallway. Then follow me. Evan took a shivering breath. Then another. He set the phone down slowly, like he was setting down something dangerous, and stood from the bed. He stepped forward. The man walked into the hallway. And Evan followed him into the dark. Into the truth. Into himself. The hallway was cold. Not physically, the air wasn't any different from before, but psychologically. It felt like stepping out of a dream into a reality he'd been avoiding for years. Evan followed the man toward the living room, each step soft but weighted, as if the carpet was soaking up fragments of his attention with every footfall. The man stopped in front of the living room window, where the city lights flickered in the distance like scattered embers. Sit, he said. Evan obeyed, lowering himself onto the couch. His heart raced, not from fear but from anticipation, the kind that comes when you realize your life is about to crack open. The man stood in front of him, hands behind his back. Let me ask you a question, he said. When was the last time you sat in silence without reaching for your phone? Evan opened his mouth, then closed it. I don't know. The man nodded as if he expected that answer. And when was the last time you finished a task without checking notifications? Without switching apps? Without mentally drifting? Evan stared at the floor. I don't know that either. The man crouched down, bringing his eyes level with Evan's. That's because your brain isn't wired for deep focus anymore. It's wired for microstimulation. Constant hits. Constant novelty. Constant escape. He tapped Evan's forehead lightly. You have a mind built for creation, being used for consumption. Evan flinched at the accuracy of the blow. The man continued, tonight, before your phone woke you, your brain entered REM sleep, the deepest part of mental restoration. But your device ripped you out of it. That's not a minor interruption, Evan. That's neurological vandalism. Evan swallowed. So my phone is rewiring me? No, the man said. It has already rewired you. He stood and walked toward the coffee table. Do you want to know why you feel overwhelmed all the time? Why you can't stay focused for more than a few minutes? Why every task feels heavier than it should? Evan nodded slowly. The man pointed to the phone lying on the table. Because every swipe, every tap, every scroll fractures your attention into smaller and smaller pieces until you can't hold a thought for more than a moment. He paused. You're drowning in dopamine. And starving for depth. The room fell silent. The man looked toward the city skyline again. There's a reason you can't fix it with motivation. Motivation requires mental space and your mind is full. Evan rubbed his temples. This is a lot. It's supposed to be, the man replied. You've spent years turning your brain into a battlefield. Rebuilding it won't be painless. Evan leaned back on the couch. So what's the plan? Meditation? Cold showers? Deleting social media? I've tried all that. The man shook his head. Those are tools. But tools won't work if the foundation is broken. He pointed at Evan's chest. Your focus isn't something you do. It's something you protect. Evan frowned. Protect it from what? The man gestured to the dark apartment. From everything competing for it. He snapped his fingers. Suddenly the room flickered and transformed. Evan gasped. He was no longer in his apartment. He was inside a giant digital landscape, floating screens surrounding him like holograms in an endless, neon-lit void. Each screen showed something he recognized: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, email, news alerts, games, messages, notifications. The apps weren't static. They moved like predators circling prey, glowing, pulsing, trying to catch his eye. Evan felt panic rise in his throat. What is this? The world inside your attention, the man said. The world you live in more than your own. The screens floated closer. Every notification sound made a ripple in the space, pulling at him, tempting him. Focus, the man said, is not just something you lose. It is something being stolen. Evan felt the pull, a real, physical tug dragging his eyes from one glowing screen to the next. I can't, stop looking, Evan whispered. It feels like gravity. The man nodded. It is gravity. Artificial gravity. Engineered to keep you orbiting around distraction instead of direction. He snapped his fingers again. A single spotlight appeared at Evan's feet. Bright. Warm. Centering. What's that? Evan asked, shielding his eyes. That, the man said, is your attention. Your true attention. The ability to think deeply. To create. To focus. To be present. Evan took a step toward it, but the screens surged, intensifying their glow like predators sensing prey escaping. The man shouted, Now you understand the truth, your phone isn't the enemy. Your apps aren't the enemy. Your notifications aren't the enemy. He pointed toward the swirling wall of glowing screens. This is the enemy, your inability to resist the world built to control your mind. Evan felt something inside him snap. He ran toward the spotlight, pushing through the gravity of distraction. The screens hissed and pulsed, trying to pull him back. His legs shook. His eyes burned. The pull was overwhelming. But he reached the light. And the entire digital landscape exploded in a burst of silence. He fell to his knees on solid ground, gasping. The room was gone. He was back in his apartment. The man stood over him. You felt it, didn't you? He asked calmly. The war inside your mind. Evan nodded, shaking, sweat forming on his forehead. So what do I do? He whispered. The man looked at him with a calm, ruthless clarity. You rebuild your focus. Piece by piece. Layer by layer. Breath by breath. He extended a hand. Get up. Evan grabbed his hand and stood. The man's voice deepened. Your phone won't change. Your apps won't change. The world won't change. He leaned in. So you have to. Evan's heart pounded as the man turned toward the hallway. Lesson 1, the man said. Reclaim your mind from your device. He stepped into the darkness. Evan followed. Because this time, He wasn't running from his phone. He was running toward himself. The hallway felt different this time. Not darker. Not colder. But heavier, like the air itself had gained weight. Evan followed the man into the kitchen, where the soft hum of the refrigerator was the only sound. His phone lay on the counter exactly where he'd left it earlier, its screen dark, still, silent. It looked harmless. But after what he'd just seen after that digital nightmare, it felt like a weapon. The man stood beside the counter and placed a fingertip on the phone screen. "You see this?" he asked quietly. Evan nodded. "This," the man said, "is the most powerful addiction device ever created by human hands." He looked at Evan. "And the worst part is, you think you're the one in control." Evan opened his mouth to speak, but the man continued. "You believe you choose when to check it. You believe you choose when to scroll. You believe you choose what you consume." He tapped the phone once. A single notification appeared. Evan flinched even at the faint vibration. The man raised an eyebrow. "Did you choose that reaction?" Evan shook his head slowly. "No. Exactly." The man stepped away from the counter. "We need to test something." He gestured toward the phone. "Pick it up." Evan hesitated. "Go on," the man said. "Pick it up." Evan reached out and closed his hand around the phone. Instantly, 2 more notifications flashed across the screen. Ping ping. Evan's thumb twitched. His mind leaned toward the alerts without his permission. The man nodded. "There it is." "There what is?" Evan asked, heart racing. "The reflex. The involuntary urge. The part of your brain that reacts faster than you can think." He walked closer. "Do you know how long it takes for your logical mind to activate?" Evan shook his head. "Half a second," the man said. 500 milliseconds. He held up a finger. "And do you know how fast your survival brain reacts to a notification?" Evan shook his head again. 200 milliseconds. The man leaned in. "Your impulses beat your logic every single time." Evan's grip tightened on the phone. "So what do I do?" "You learn how to take the power back." The man snapped his fingers. Suddenly the lights flickered, not like before, not violently, but deliberately, almost theatrically. Evan blinked. The kitchen dissolved. And he was standing in a massive warehouse. Dark. Empty. Echoing. Above him, suspended in the air, were giant floating screens, each showing a different version of his phone usage. Evan scrolling in bed. Evan scrolling at work. Evan scrolling at red lights. Evan scrolling during conversations. Evan scrolling on the toilet. Evan scrolling seconds after waking up. Evan scrolling until 3 a.m. trying to feel something. It was like watching a highlight reel of wasted minutes, no, wasted life. Evan's stomach twisted. The man appeared beside him. "This," he said, pointing to the screens, "is the truth you've been avoiding." Evan felt exposed. Ashamed. Sick. He whispered, "Why do I do it? Why can't I stop?" The man walked in front of him and spoke calmly. "You reach for your phone for 3 reasons." He held up a finger. 1. Avoidance. You use it to escape discomfort. A second finger. 2. Stimulation. You rely on it to feel anything at all. A third. And 3. Reward. Your brain believes every swipe is a tiny victory. The warehouse screens switch to images of dopamine pathways in the brain, lighting up like fireworks. The man turned to Evan. "Your brain is not weak. Your discipline is not broken. Your willpower is not failing." He paused. "Your environment is engineered against you. Evan stared at him, breath unsteady. So how do I break free? The man stepped forward, his presence grounding, steady. By understanding the enemy. He waved his hand. The screens vanished. And from the darkness, 3 enormous machines emerged, each shaped like towering monoliths. What are those? Evan asked. The man's voice echoed through the warehouse. The 3 forces that have destroyed your focus. The first machine glowed red. Number 1, instant gratification. The beast that tells you every moment must be entertaining. The machine emitted a pulse rapid, bright, overwhelming. You chase constant stimulation and lose the ability to sit with silence. The second machine glowed blue. Number 2, infinite choice. With endless content, your brain never rests. Never finishes. Never commits. Its screen spun like a slot machine, endless videos, endless feeds, endless swipes. Your brain was not built for infinity. The third machine glowed gold. And number 3, the hardest to defeat, intermittent rewards. You never know which scroll will make you laugh. Which post will excite you. Which alert will matter. He pointed at the machine. That unpredictability? That randomness? It's the same mechanism used in casinos. Evan felt a chill crawl up his spine. So I'm addicted to gambling with my attention? The man nodded slowly. Yes. But you don't gamble with money. He pointed at Evan's chest. You gamble with your life. The machines pulsed 1, 2, 3, each emitting a wave that washed over the warehouse like a storm of invisible electricity. Evan fell to his knees, gripping his head. I can't, it's too much. I can't fight all of this. The man's voice cut through the chaos with absolute calm. You're not here to fight them. The machines roared louder. Lights flashed. Sound vibrated. The air thickened. The man stepped forward, voice rising. You're here to learn how to disconnect their power. He walked into the center of the room. Stand up. Evan forced himself to his feet, shaking. Lesson 2, the man said. He extended his hand toward the machines. You don't defeat addiction by resisting it. He lowered his hand. You defeat it by replacing it. Evan's heartbeat thundered in his chest. Replacing it with what? He asked. The man smiled, a small, knowing smile. With the version of you that your addiction has been burying. The machines began to crack. The lights dimmed. The warehouse shook. Follow me, the man said. Your focus is waiting on the other side. Evan stepped forward. Right into the collapse. The warehouse collapsed like a dying star, not with fire and destruction, but with a silent implosion, as if the digital world itself inhaled sharply and then folded into nothing. Evan stumbled forward, bracing himself. Suddenly, he was standing on solid ground again. But this time, it wasn't his apartment. It wasn't the void. It wasn't the digital battlefield. It was a long, narrow bridge suspended over an endless dark abyss. A single pathway. No railings. No barriers. No protection. Just a thin line of stone lit by a faint glow beneath his feet. Evan swallowed hard. Where are we? The man stepped beside him. Inside the part of your mind where your attention truly lives. Evan stared into the abyss, its darkness pulsing, whispering, almost breathing. It feels dangerous. It is, the man said. Your focus is fragile. One wrong step and you fall back into distraction. He pointed down the bridge. At the other end is your mind before the addiction. The part of you that could think for hours without interruption. The part that could sit in silence. The part that could read, build, create, and actually finish things. Evan's chest tightened. I miss that version of me. You can get him back, the man said. But you must cross. Evan stepped forward, carefully. The stone under his foot lit up, glowing white for a moment before dimming. Another step. Then another. The man followed behind him with calm, steady footsteps. As Evan moved farther down the bridge, faint whispers rose from the abyss. At first, they were quiet, the soft hiss of static. Then louder. Notifications. Voices from apps. The ping of messages. Autoplay videos. Buzzing alerts. Endless scrolling sounds. Evan flinched with every noise. It's pulling at me, Evan whispered. It feels like gravity again. That's because it is gravity, the man said. Your phone built pathways in your mind. This is the pull of those pathways trying to drag you back. The whispers intensified. Just check one message. It'll only take a second. Maybe something important happened. You're missing out. One little scroll won't hurt. Just open the app. Evan gritted his teeth. This is impossible. The man shook his head. No. It's uncomfortable. You've forgotten the difference. Evan took another step. This time the pull was stronger, a physical force dragging at his clothes, his hair, his fingertips. His heart hammered. I can't keep doing this. Yes, you can, the man said. The abyss roared, a wave of notifications erupting like thunder. Evan lost his balance. The bridge shook. He slipped and caught the edge with both hands. His legs dangled over nothingness. Below him, the abyss churned with glowing images, infinite feeds, videos, messages swirling like whirlpools of content. The voices grew louder. Just let go. Fall back. It's easier down here. No effort required. No discipline needed. Let us keep your mind. You don't need it. Evan's grip weakened. I'm falling, he shouted. The man knelt at the edge, eyes sharp. Evan. Look at me. Evan looked up, shaking. You're not falling, the man said. You're choosing. What? Your attention goes where your awareness goes, the man said. Shift your awareness now. Evan squeezed his eyes shut. The man's voice cut through the chaos. Breathe. Evan inhaled sharply. The abyss roared louder. Again. He breathed deeper. The pulling sensation dulled slightly. Focus on one thing, the man commanded. Not everything. 1. Evan's hand tightened on the stone. The swirling images below blurred. What one thing do you want? The man asked. Evan opened his eyes. His voice cracked, desperate, honest, raw. I want my mind back. The abyss screamed, a screech of dying circuitry. Light burst from Evan's hands where he gripped the bridge. And with a guttural cry, he pulled himself back up, rolling onto the stone path, panting, shaking, sweat dripping down his face. The man watched him with a fierce, almost proud expression. You just fought the hardest battle of your life, he said quietly. Evan sat up slowly. That was awful. That was withdrawal, the man said. Your brain fighting to keep the old patterns alive. Evan stared into the abyss. It was quieter now. Dimmer. More distant. But it didn't win. No, the man said. Because you did something extraordinary. What? You resisted for the first time with awareness. The man pointed forward. Stand. Evan stood, still trembling. Walk, the man said. Evan moved forward, step by step, each footfall lighting the stone beneath him. The abyss no longer pulled as strongly. The whispers softened into faint murmurs. then into nothing. When he reached the end of the bridge, the man stood beside him. "This," the man said, "is the moment you reclaim yourself." Evan looked ahead. A glowing doorway waited, similar to the one before, but brighter, purer, more powerful. "What's behind it?" Evan asked. The man placed a hand on Evan's shoulder. "The version of you that can think deeply again. The version who can focus for hours. The version who can build the life you keep imagining." Evan breathed out. The fear was gone. The doubt was gone. The gravity was gone. All that remained was readiness. He reached for the handle. But the man stopped him. "One warning," he said quietly. Evan turned. "When you open that door, your phone will fight harder than ever before. It will attack you in ways you can't imagine." Evan swallowed. "Why?" "Because you're becoming someone it can no longer control." Evan nodded. "I'm ready." He opened the door and stepped through. The door closed behind him with a low, echoing tum, like a vault ceiling shut. Evan blinked. He wasn't in a dreamscape. He wasn't on a bridge. He wasn't in a warehouse or a digital void. He was home. Standing in the center of his quiet living room. The same couch. The same lamp. The same phone on the counter. The same ordinary life. But something was different. Everything felt sharper. Clearer. More real. He could hear the hum of the fridge. The soft winter wind brushing against the window. The faint ticking of the wall clock. Even his own breathing, calm and steady. It was as if someone had wiped his mind clean, restoring a part of him he didn't know he'd lost. The man stood beside him, hands behind his back. "You feel it, don't you?" he asked. Evan nodded slowly. "Yes, it's like my brain woke up." "That's because it did," the man said. "You accessed a level of awareness that distraction had buried." Evan took another breath, deep and grounding. "So, is it fixed now? Am I free?" The man didn't smile. Not even close. Evan's chest tightened. "What do you mean?" The man walked toward the kitchen counter where the phone still sat, dark, silent, harmless looking. Too harmless. "Addiction doesn't attack you when you're alert," the man said. "It attacks you when you're tired. Bored. Lonely. Hungry. Overwhelmed." He tapped the phone with one finger. "And it attacks when you think you've already beaten it." Evan frowned. "So now what?" The man turned toward him, and for the first time since they met, Evan saw something in the man's eyes: gravitas. Concern. Warning. "Now," the man said, "you face the part everyone underestimates." He stepped closer. "The rebound." Evan swallowed hard. "What's that?" "The rebound," the man repeated, "is the moment after awareness. The moment after the breakthrough. The moment after clarity." He pointed to Evan's chest. "When your mind feels strong. And your discipline feels sharp. And your focus feels unstoppable," he paused. "That's when addiction strikes with its full force." Evan shook his head. "I thought we already fought it." The man's voice deepened. "You fought its shadow. Not its core." Suddenly, the lights in the apartment flickered. Evan turned toward the phone. Its screen lit up. For the first time since he put it down hours ago. One notification. Just one. A message preview appeared. "Hey, did you see this yet?" His pulse quickened. "What?" "I turned those off." The man nodded grimly. "Yes." "And your phone turned them back on." The phone vibrated again. Another preview. breaking news, you won't believe this. Evan stepped back. I didn't touch anything. You didn't have to, the man said. These apps have learned you. They know when to tempt you. But that's impossible, Evan whispered. No, the man said. It's predictable. The phone buzzed again. 10 new videos recommended for you. Another. Limited time offer. Another. Someone liked your post. Another. Don't miss out. The screen brightened too bright, illuminating the room with an unnatural glow. The man stepped between Evan and the phone. This is the rebound, he said. This is the moment every person loses the fight. Evan felt the pull. Not like before, not chaotic or overwhelming, but subtle. Calculated. Seductive. It felt like a whisper inside his mind, just check one thing. 1 minute won't hurt. You deserve a break. You've done enough already. Evan clenched his fists. I can handle it. No, the man said firmly. Not by resisting it. Then how? The man's voice dropped to a whisper. By understanding the twist. Evan stared at him, tense. What twist? The man pointed at the glowing phone. The twist is that your phone isn't trying to distract you anymore. He paused, letting the words settle like dust. It's trying to identify you. Evan blinked. What? The man stepped toward the device, his voice steady and grave. These notifications aren't random. They are targeted probes. Tests. Triggers. He glanced at Evan. Your phone is trying to determine if the old you still lives inside you. A chill ran through Evan's body. What do you mean, determine? The man spoke slowly, deliberately. Your device is learning whether you're still the person who responded instantly, or if you become someone it can no longer predict. Evan's heart pounded. So this whole wave of notifications is the algorithm probing your identity, the man finished. It wants to know, did you really change? Or was your breakthrough temporary? The phone vibrated violently now, aggressively, as if sensing Evan's hesitation. The glow brightened, flickering. The man lifted a hand. Don't touch it. Evan nodded. I won't. The man's eyes narrowed. You say that now. But identity is not a feeling. Identity is a decision. And decisions must be proven. Evan swallowed hard. So how do I prove it? The man stepped aside, revealing the phone glowing brighter than ever. You walked past it. Evan froze. That's it? That's everything, the man said. Evan inhaled deeply. The phone buzzed again. A louder vibration. A brighter flash. A more urgent headline. It was like the device was screaming at him, look at me. Just once. Come back. Evan felt a tug inside his chest, faint but real. He closed his eyes. Took a breath. Stepped forward. The phone's glow flared. The notifications multiplied. The screen vibrated so violently it rattled the counter. Evan's hand trembled. The man whispered behind him, identity is not changed through effort, but through action. Evan opened his eyes. Looked at the phone. Then walked past it. Slow. Steady. Certain. The phone fell silent. Instantly. Completely. Like a defeated enemy realizing its target had outgrown it. Evan exhaled shakily. The man nodded. You just passed the rebound. Evan turned to him. Is it over? The man shook his head. No, he pointed toward the dark hallway. Now comes the real twist, the part that will decide whether you fix your focus or lose it forever. Evan felt a chill. What's waiting for me? The man's voice was low. Something only you can face. Evan took a breath and stepped into the darkness. The hallway swallowed him. Not with darkness, but with something heavier, something colder, something that felt alive. Evan took a slow step forward. Then another. Behind him, the man remained silent. Watching. Waiting. Testing. Ahead, a faint glow appeared. White. Soft. Familiar. Evan squinted. It was a doorway. A doorway just like the one he passed through earlier, the one that led into the bridge, the abyss, the warehouse, the battlefield inside his mind. But something was different about this one. There was a silhouette standing in front of it. A person. Motionless. Silent. Facing away from him. Evan's heartbeat quickened. "Who is that?" he whispered. The man's voice echoed behind him. "Your final obstacle." Evan frowned. "Another version of me?" "No," the man said. Evan took a step closer. The silhouette sharpened. A young man in a hoodie. Head slightly bowed. Phone in hand. The glow of the screen illuminated his face. Evan's stomach twisted. Because now he could see him clearly. It was Evan. But not any past version. Not any future. It was Evan from this morning. Same clothes. Same exhausted eyes. Same slack jaw staring blankly into a screen. Same posture of submission. The man spoke softly. "That is the version of you who lived without awareness. The version who surrendered. The version who didn't fight back." The silhouette, the old Evan, didn't look up. His thumbs scrolled endlessly. Mindlessly. Hopelessly. Evan stepped closer, breath shaking. "So what am I supposed to do? Talk to him?" "No," the man said. "You're not here to talk to him. You're here to understand him." Evan frowned. "What do you mean?" "Addiction," the man said, "is not a monster. It's a coping mechanism. This version of you isn't evil. He isn't weak. He isn't stupid." The man's voice softened. "He's wounded." Evan felt a lump in his throat. He used his phone to silence the stress. Silence the loneliness. Silence the self-doubt. Silence the pain of being human. Evan turned to him. "So, what am I supposed to do?" The man finally stepped forward, the first time he'd walked ahead of Evan. He approached old Evan and knelt beside him. The glowing phone screen lit both their faces. "He's not your enemy," the man said. "He's the part of you that needed help long before the addiction started." Evan's chest tightened. He looked at old Evan, still scrolling endlessly. He remembered the nights staring at his phone because he couldn't face the silence. He remembered the mornings where he felt empty and used the screen to fill the void. He remembered every swipe that felt like a momentary escape from anxiety. From fear. From uncertainty. "Then how do I fix him?" Evan whispered. "You don't fix him," the man said. "You liberate him." Evan stepped closer. "How?" The man stood and looked Evan in the eyes, the most serious expression he'd ever worn. "By understanding the twist." Evan braced himself. "What twist?" The man gestured toward old Evan. "The twist is this: you're not fighting your phone. You're fighting the version of you that needed your phone." Evan felt the words hit like a tidal wave. You don't break addiction by deleting apps. You break addiction by healing the pain that made the apps necessary. Evan's breath shook. This was different. This wasn't about discipline or rules or dopamine. This was about the wound underneath it all. The man stepped aside. Go to him. Evan hesitated. He approached old Evan slowly, carefully, like approaching a frightened animal. He knelt beside him. Old Evan didn't look up. Evan whispered, I know why you're hurting. Old Evan's scrolling slowed, but didn't stop. Evan continued, voice trembling, I know you felt overwhelmed. I know you felt pressure to keep up. I know you felt behind. I know you didn't feel good enough. I know you didn't know how to make life make sense. Old Evan's thumb stopped. His body stiffened. The glow of the phone flickered. Evan's eyes filled with emotion. You used your phone because you didn't know where else to put the pain. And I'm sorry you had to carry it alone. Old Evan lifted his head slightly. Just slightly. The man's voice whispered behind them, good. Keep going. Evan's voice cracked, you're not alone anymore. I'm here now. The version of us who doesn't need the screen to feel okay. Old Evan finally looked up. He had tears in his eyes. For the first time, Evan saw the truth, this version of him wasn't addicted. He was hurting. Evan extended a hand. Old Evan looked at it, hesitant, fragile, uncertain. Evan whispered, it's okay to put it down now. The glowing phone dimmed. Old Evan's fingers unwrapped slowly. Gently. Painfully. The phone slipped from his hand and fell to the ground with a soft tap. Silence. Then old Evan's body dissolved into light. A soft, warm, golden light that flowed into Evan's chest like a breath he'd been holding for years. The man stepped forward. You didn't defeat him, he said quietly. You integrated him. The light faded. Evan stood taller, calmer, stronger. So, now what? Evan whispered. The man pointed toward the glowing doorway. Now, he said, you reclaim your life. Evan stepped toward the door. But before he touched it, the man spoke one last time, you are no longer the boy who escapes into the screen. You are the man who steps into the world. Evan opened the door. And stepped through, into the beginning of the rest of his mind.